15 reasons why people fail. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Hello Aluxers, we know that many of you are fighting your own battles, so we thought it would be valuable to you if we were to go through some of the most common reasons why people fail. No matter what you're doing right now, if you're starting a business, if you're struggling to find love, or looking to start a family, trying to get in shape, or want to improve yourself in any aspect of your life, there's a pretty good chance of failure. If you've been watching motivational videos for a while, you know that everyone glorifies failure these days. It's like some sort of desired outcome. To be frank, that's incredibly stupid, and those people should be ashamed of spreading that kind of information. The last thing you want to do in life is fail. But because there's such a high rate of failure all around us, it's smart to know how to deal with it and how to use it to not make the same mistakes again. But failure should never be your goal. People should stop glorifying failure. Your failure is a clear indication that you were not ready enough, you were not smart enough to prevent it, and you don't deserve the success you're after. The world doesn't reward failure, it rewards those that manage to escape it. Failure means you just lost a battle. Maybe not the war, but lose enough battles and guess what? Your dreams might die an early death. Next time you hear someone glorifying their failures, show them this video. Now that you understand why failure is such a bad thing, let's have a look on why it is that people fail in business and in life. Here are the most common 15 reasons. Number 1. They never try in the first place. This one is pretty straightforward, and if you need us to explain it for you, you probably already failed at life. But we're going to do it anyway for the sake of making sure you understand what we're talking about. How do you expect to win a race if you're not in it? How do you expect the girl to say yes if you never ask her the question? How do you expect to get anything without putting in the work? We've mentioned a bunch of times in our previous videos, but the world doesn't owe you anything. If you want it, you gotta go get it. You might be bad at it at first, but at least now you're in the race, while the rest are just spectators. Number 2, they underestimate what it will take. Everything looks easy from the outside, right? It's easy to look at someone successful and assume you two are just alike and you can easily do what he or she does until you actually go to do it. One of the most common reasons why people fail in life is they often underestimate what it would take to make a certain goal become a reality. Throughout this list, we'll mention various angles which people frequently under-budget when it comes to achieving success. This happens because people usually look at the end result and not the structure behind it. It sure as hell seems easy to look at Kylie Jenner or Kim Kardashian and say, I could have done that. But when you really start breaking things apart, how many Kardashians are there? You think you just need to have a spicy video online and you're instantly going to get hundreds of millions of dollars. Go ahead, try it. Do you have any idea how many women tried to replicate that model and failed miserably? Probably not, because they failed so hard you didn't even hear about them. We specifically use the Kardashian example here, but there are plenty of options that could have illustrated our point, but none of them would have hit the nerve the same way as the Kardashians do. If you think it's unfair they got all that money, then you're not aware of the structure behind. You're just looking at the surface. Never underestimate what it will take to make it. Number 3, they're lazy. Boo-hoo! Alux is calling everyone lazy again. Well, if you wanted something that was achievable and all you had to do was put in X amount of work to get it, and you didn't, what do you call that? We call that being lazy. You want to learn a new language? Guess what? Unless future tech comes out with some way of downloading a new language patch directly into your brain, you're gonna have to put some serious hours into this. You want to have a six-pack or a flat stomach and you don't already? It's because you're lazy. But Alux, I don't have the time to go to the gym. Don't bullshit yourself. You could wake up an hour earlier and fit in a decent run. It's just that you're too lazy to do anything about it. If that solution doesn't work for you, then you're too lazy to figure out a solution that does work for your situation. We've touched upon this in the past, but being lazy doesn't necessarily mean putting in hard physical work. It also has to do with your ability to understand what skills and knowledge you need to acquire in order to give you a shot at success. Don't be lazy when it comes to your goals. Don't procrastinate. While you're wasting time watching reruns of God knows what awful telenovelas people are watching these days, there's someone out there that's putting in the work, shooting for the same goals as you do. And they're gonna get it because you were lazy. Number 4, they don't have a competitive advantage. One of the basic rules in life is do not compete unless you have a competitive advantage. Competition is for losers. If you're in a race with the goal to compete, then you're already behind. Those are the worst races to be in. While you compete with other people who are here to compete as well, there's one guy way out there in the lead. He's not here to compete with you losers. He's here to dominate. Do you think Google is competing with Bing? LOL, nope. The big rewards come to those who are instrumentally better than everyone else, to those who have an edge. That doesn't mean a new player can't show up and turn the entire thing upside down. Uber did not show up to compete with taxis. Uber came to dominate the industry. Success comes from having a competitive advantage over those who are coming for the same thing you want. If you're unable to have a competitive advantage, you're bound to always be, at most, mediocre. Number 5, they don't learn and adapt fast enough. The single most important factor when it comes to survival is your ability to adapt to the ever-changing environment you or your business lives in. The second you start lagging behind, you're out. Done. You failed. People fail because they believe you only need to work hard to get to the top of the mountain. But what they don't realize is that the top conditions are pretty harsh. The snow is deep, the winds are stronger than at the bottom, and you have to fight with all you have if you want to stay there. The mountain is always challenging. The rules are changing. New information is always on the rise. Your inability to continually learn about the emerging trends will result in your failure. In the last few years, we've seen titans fall to crumbles because of this. The pony didn't want to learn new tricks. A great example of this is Blockbuster. The future came knocking on their door. Netflix offered to sell Blockbuster, but nah, people love getting dressed and walking to a brick-and-mortar store to rent DVDs. There is a certain pleasure of running into strangers at the store, and this streaming thing is going nowhere. We'll stick to our old business model. Well, how did that work out? Want some more examples? Remember when Yahoo could have bought Google for $1 million? Read books, watch videos, go to events, experiment with new tools. Your success depends on it. Number 6, a lack of self-discipline. Another reason why people fail is that they don't understand the importance of self-discipline. Once you have your commitment, you need the discipline and hard work to make it happen. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. Your inability to have control over your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, your actions is what will lead you to failure. The paradox is, you need self-discipline to improve your self-discipline skills. This is such a strong concept that we want to do a dedicated video about it. We're going to cover in detail what steps one should take to start disciplining all the relevant aspects of their lives. So make sure you've got the bell notification on not to miss it. Number 7, a lack of planning. Winging it might have worked in high school where there weren't really any stakes on the table. But when it comes to the real world, you don't get many shots. You have to make great use of all of them. Most people have an idea of what they want to do, but very few have an actual plan on how to get there. Let me explain. Let's say you wanted to bake an apple pie. That's your goal. How do you achieve that goal? You go online, search for recipes on apple pie, understand what are the ingredients you'd need to make the apple pie, and also realize that you might not have all of them inside of your house. Maybe you need to take a trip to the store to acquire some of them. Even after you've secured all of the ingredients, there's a certain order of events that needs to happen to get that apple pie done correctly. Without understanding what the goal is, what pieces need to be in place, and what the process will entail, you have almost zero chance to get it right. Number 8, a fear of failure. Let us first double down on what we said in the intro. There's nothing worse than failure, but when we say that, we mean total failure. That's when you're left with nothing. You're done, you're out, that was it. You've exhausted all of your resources, and that didn't amount to anything. That's what true failure is, and you should be scared of it. Everything else are just bumps in the road that you need to overcome. You need to be willing to overcome these hurdles and stay focused on the big goal. This is what separates the wannabes versus the real go-getters. We're all scared of failure, but that's what drives us to be better every single day, to show up every single day, to keep putting in the work every single day, to keep learning every single day. But Alux, what if it doesn't work out for me? Well, there's a really good chance it's not going to work for you. Are you still willing to take the risk? Are you willing to bet your future on yourself? If the answer is no, then you're not scared of failure, you're just not ready. If you try and don't get it, that's not failure. It's the world's way of showing you that you need to make a correction. Please remember that. The one true and only failure is when no other options remain. The rest are just there to keep the fake ones from getting it. Number 9, wanting too much too quickly. The truth is, there are no shortcuts. Real life is not like a movie. You're not the chosen one. You're not gonna have a happy ending in 1.5 hours, unless you pay for it, but that's a different kind of happy ending. Time is one of the most important ingredients when creating success. Same as fear, it has the role to weed out those who are not ready. Everyone wants to get rich quick. Everyone is selling you the secret to success, or a 7-step program to $1 million in 6 months, maybe even working only 4 hours a week. Once you educate yourself enough to understand how the market works, what it takes to create a product, how consumers get access to new products and different business models, it becomes clear that everything worth building will demand extensive periods of time. On average, it takes 10 years for a business to reach maturity, with the first 3 years being the most overwhelming, with barely no results whatsoever. By years 6 or 7, you should see real traction with maturity around year 10. That's how you should plan a business, and be ready to apply all the points before this one to even have a shot at surviving. Number 10, they're too emotionally invested to realize they're wrong. Your idea is your baby, and nobody wants to admit that sometimes their own baby sucks. Sometimes it's underdeveloped, not that creative, has problems connecting, or you really did a poor job parenting. Some ideas are stupid, and just because for some weird reason it somewhat makes sense to you, it doesn't mean the world needs it, no matter how unique your business is. There is a difference between a unique idea and a useful idea. Do you see what we're getting at? Good. Fortunately for you, there's a pretty straightforward way to realize that either everyone is wrong or it's just you. Here's how you do it. You ready? If everyone tells you it's a stupid idea and you fail to prove them wrong despite giving it your all, then your idea is stupid. Stop treating your idea or business like a person. It's one of the benefits of running a business. You can make objective choices that will ensure the survival of the company at the expense of subjective things. You don't need a hip office in the middle of Manhattan for your candle sharing app. It's not the office that keeps your candle sharing app from taking off. It's your idea that's stupid to begin with. It's time to shoot it and start working on something new. Before you jump on your new idea, you might want to watch our video of 15 things rich people do that the poor don't in the top right corner. We've showcased a lot of juicy details on what can make or break your mindset and strategy. Number 11, they make excuses. Ever notice that whenever someone failed, it was never their fault? We were too early, the world wasn't ready, Facebook beat us to it, I didn't have enough money, I wasn't born in the right country. Come on, give it a break. It's you that failed. You were not smart enough. You failed to see that you're going to need more money and failed again on securing that money. You failed to position yourself right. It's not the market, the country, or the resources. It's you. You were the one who was unable to make the best possible use of all the things you currently have access to in order to gain access to bigger and better opportunities afterwards. Stop making excuses because we're not buying it. Come back when you have something the world thinks is valuable. Number 12, they're being resistant to advice. Another reason why most people fail is their inability to distinguish good advice from bad advice. Believe it or not, in every failure story, there is one point where the subject in question could have chosen a different route, but they failed to do so because they thought they knew better. It's people that always think they have all the answers that keep on failing. That's the beauty of this game. The world is constantly giving you feedback on whatever it is you're doing. A lot of people will want to pitch in with their own inputs, and you never know what message could trigger either your jump to the next level or your drop to zero. If you want to learn more about what kind of dumb advice unsuccessful people give you, check out our video in the top right corner. Whenever you hear someone suggest one of these to you, take it with a grain of salt. Number 13, they don't measure progress. Goals should be measurable, and so is progress. You need to be able to keep track of how well you're performing. Most people set a huge goal like, I will become a billionaire, but have no idea how to get there, and they're not making progress towards it. People fail because they're not aware in which aspects of their lives they're making good progress and which ones they aren't. You can't improve on things you can't measure and don't keep track of. The most common way of losing weight is by weighing yourself every morning and writing it down on a calendar or a piece of paper next to the scale. This makes sure you're aware of fluctuations in your body weight, and it's a great reminder of the goal you're shooting for. The second you stop keeping track, progress is lost. Number 14. They're all talk and no show. It's easy to tell who are the all-talk, no-show wannabe entrepreneurs. They're usually the ones using all the buzzwords, going to all the conventions, but never committing to anything. You've heard about them starting a social network and then an app, then something with 3D printing, and now they're really focused on ICOS. They jump from one trend to the other because it's hot. Despite saying they're going to do it, the most work they tend to put in is creating a new Facebook page, which they'll use to spam you with until they jump onto the next thing with a new Facebook page and spam you with that one. They fail because they rarely commit to becoming really good at something, acquiring a competitive edge, and almost always expect a quick win. Number 15. They give up. Giving up is throwing in the towel. You lost. You were unable to succeed. The game was too hard for you to beat. Now you know where you stand. There's a difference between giving up and pivoting. One is a surrender move, while the other is a change in strategy. People fail because they give up too easily, because they're too lazy to do what it takes to get themselves to a position where they can overcome. People who give up usually project the fault onto external elements and are the ones making excuses. But deep down, they know they never had what it takes. And that's okay. Some are leaders and some are followers. Some will succeed while others will cave away when things get rough. The greatest rewards are waiting for those who are willing to take the greatest risks. Those who, despite all odds against them, push through and change the world forever. These are the people that never give up, which brings us to the question of the day. Why do you think people fail? What should we add to this list? Let us know in the comments. And because you stuck with us all the way to the end, we have a bonus fact just for you. Number 16. They don't know themselves. This is something most people overlook when starting on their journey, and it's something that, if not addressed early on, will bring everything down to the ground. You need to know where you stand, what your values are, what your definition of success looks like. Unless you have a clear understanding of yourself, you're not going to be able to make the right call when the time comes, and you're doomed to fail. We truly hope that at least some of you Aluxers have what it takes to make that happen. The truth is, most of you will probably fail. You will try, you will make excuses, you won't put in the work, and you'll blame it on whatever fits your story. But among you, there are a few that will achieve success beyond what the rest are even dreaming about. It won't be many, just a very few. It's not going to be the one who gets the first comment on the video. It's not going to be the one who downvotes this video because they got offended by our words. It's going to be the one who enters the race and puts in the work, the one who's continually learning and working their butt off. If you're going to be in this race, please leave an X under your comment so we can hold you accountable. But don't do it if you're not ready. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxer. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. If you want more, we handpicked these videos you might enjoy, or head over to Alux.com for the best in fine living content on the planet. Be a part of the largest community of luxury enthusiasts in the world and tell your story.